Hello everyone, Roger once again with Creating with Your Spiritual Universe, CWYSU.com, and thank you so much for joining today. And I want to say hello to all the new people who have joined the Creating with Your Universe community here on YouTube. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Looking up at the clouds here. Nothing to see there. Then I want to talk about a subject that's popping up, and it's kind of always been kind of an issue. And this is not a new kind of technical solution, but I bring it up because it's very simple, very easy, and but extremely important. And that is the subject of what to do with unwanted thoughts when they come in. And so what I want to immediately start saying is that, first of all, understand that these thoughts are not yours. We are not thought producers per se. We can project energy, but we're not thought producers per se. The brain and the mind is a processor. We process thoughts. We don't generally generate them. I might have a little bit of pushback from some who might disagree with me on that. Now, a human being can project an energy towards another person or a situation, and then it shows up to the other person and will be in the form of a thought, or that person will see it as a thought because it'll have a message and it'll have a feeling and all of that. So it's considered a thought. So in that way, I guess you could consider it that. But when it leaves that person, it's an energy. And a thought form is energy. A thought form is energy. Everything's energy. But when a person sends an energy out with a message, it's not technically a thought form, but it behaves, acts, looks, and feels like one. But we don't generally produce them. Now, I'm talking about from the level of the mind and the brain. Now, our spirits produce thought forms, so that we can do. We can have what I would say, imposters or intruders that are within the subconscious that can produce thought forms and get us to project them out, and then we think that we've created them. That can happen, and that's a roundabout way, but that's because you get the thought form and then you project it out to others. But we're not really going to get into that, because that could be that's a whole nother subject, and it's really, as far as I'm concerned, really doesn't really help enhance the situation. Just understanding this is the case could help you in a bit, but what I want to focus on right now is the idea of having unwanted thought forms that come in, that pay a visit, and they're not you, and they're not representative of what you are like, or what you would do, or how you feel, or your sentiment. So what do you do with those? Where do they come from? Let's just talk about where they potentially could come from. And these thought forms are broadcasted. Let me tell you, there are technologies here that we're not aware of. They're sent out and they're broadcasted to across the mass, and so they show up, and so you might be a person that blocks out thoughts. You might be a person that filters them, and you do all of that. But that can be a bit tiring, because they just come one after the other, after the other, after the other. And so a much more sensible technique, or I should say a much more productive, let's just say that, because those other techniques, they are sensible, but they might be a bit unsustainable in some cases. This one is sustainable, so sustainable and so productive that you can turn the tables on these thought forms that are being projected in, because we're processors. Okay, let me just step back a little bit and talk about what we are. We're thought processors. We are information processors, and all a thought is information. And so I took a mathematical analytical course a few years ago, and in that class the professor talked about the human brain in particular. And he talked about the human brain, and he said, if the human brain was a computer that we could build with the, and I think it was about 2 years ago that I took this. If the human brain was a computer that we could build, it would be a quantum computer, first of all, which is the highest level computer. And we would have to build it, and it would have to be with 2 years technology from 2 years ago, which would be 2016. Yeah, 2016. It would be the size of Texas. That's just the processing abilities. Now we do way more than process. And he's talking about the part of the mind that we actually know about, the conscious mind. And if you look at the mechanisms of thought and thinking and processing and analyzing and all of that, the conscious mind, and we looked at it as an iceberg, the conscious mind would be the top of the iceberg and the subconscious would be below. And we know that most of an iceberg is sitting below, and very small percentage is sitting on top. What he's referring to, that's the size of Texas and processing ability, is just the conscious mind, not even touching what's down in the subconscious, which is way more than a processor. So that's just and I say this to just remind you how powerful you are. And that's just one aspect. Your subconscious, that I've done that stuff, the mind, consciousness, that's just one little aspect of what you are. Just one. So you can utilize this energy and this power that you have to neutralize these thoughts that are not you. And so, how do you do it? How do you do it? I'll tell you what I do and what I recommend. I use 3 words, and you want to already have this already made, figured out, ready to fire, ready to go when these thoughts come. You don't want to be in the middle of it and then thinking about, oh yeah, what was it that I was gonna do for this when this happened? No, you want to have it and practice it. It's simple, it's easy. My 3 words. Whenever a thought that I don't want comes into mind, I go, I want to overlay that thought with a feeling of health. I want to be healthy, happy, and whole. Not I want. Let's subtract that. My desire is to replace that with something that is healthy, happy, and whole. And you don't have to figure out what that is. Healthy, happy, and whole. That's it. Because that carries a high frequency. And then when you say I desire, and you say it strongly, you don't use weak words like I want or I wish. You say I desire, or I intend, or I will. Whatever you start with, you make that phrase, whatever it is. My desire is for me to be healthy, happy, and whole on every level. And if the thought is about someone else that maybe you've had a falling out with, or maybe you're having a bad thought about, you said, I desire. See, I correct myself. No weak language. I desire for that person to be healthy, happy, and whole on every level. And so now you're turning the tables on these thought forms, because the minute you project your energy, that's the energy that's coming from the home base, from you, it automatically makes it stronger. And then you add high frequency statements and words, making it even more stronger. And then you're using strong statements with strong and very direct words. Your subconscious responds very well to that. No weak words or weak language. Okay? And so when you do that, it stamps out that old and that weak and negative thought forms, because your energy will be more dominant. You are using the law of energy, one of the laws of energy. There are many. The law of energy that says the most dominant energy will win. The most dominant energy will win, and it doesn't matter whether it's negative, whatever you want to call it, good, bad, positive. If a negative energy is more dominant than a positive one, the negative one, there's no judging on that. You have to always project your own energy in your own situation so that you can get what it is that you want, and so you can create what you want. So you see, there's so many things that are happening here. When you're overlaying your subconscious with that high frequency and dominant energy, you're building your subconscious. You're building the borders of your subconscious, the boundaries, not borders, boundaries, so that now you know the difference between someone else's energy and your energy. If you're clairsentient, meaning you feel deeply, you can feel other people's thoughts. Whatever. You can tell whether it's other people's thoughts or yours, because one of the problems with this is we must develop past not knowing other people's feelings, other people's emotions from our own. So this one little exercise not only works against thought forms that you don't want, it also works to strengthen the boundaries in your subconscious, raise the frequency therein. And also, when you project out these positive and very, very, very healthy, high frequency words towards someone else, they get that. And so you're not projecting out negative thoughts or disempowering thoughts against another person, because that's an energy. It has power. And so you also, when you're doing that, if by projecting that, you're not projecting the low frequency thoughts and emotions that then parasites can feed on. Because one of the things is the parasites and will do is that they will make you feel like whatever it is that they want is something that you want. They'll make it seem like it's you want it. You're the one that want it. Anybody do with even parasites in the gut and all that, one of the things they do is they make you think, hey, you want sugar, and you think you need to have sugar, and it's the parasite making you feel that way. This is proven. That's why you want to get rid of even physical parasites from out of your body. We'll do a video on that one day. So you are bypassing all of that. So if you fall into the gap of projecting low frequency energy, then you will be incentivizing whatever it is that feeds on that energy to keep doing whatever it's doing, so that you keep doing what it wants you to do. So see, you are taking control of yourself, and this is also taking control of your mind. Okay, so just that one technique will do it. Now, you don't have to use those words. You can go into your heart and pick out something that's more your style, that does the same thing. And so you use that, and you have it ready to go. It's simple, it's easy. And in the beginning, it's going to be like riding a bicycle. You're going to forget to do it one time, and then you go, oh my God, I set that up and I forgot to do it when that thought came. And after a while, after a couple of weeks, you start doing it. And you just do it. It's easy. You keep doing it. You start building the subconscious muscles of the mind. And all of a sudden, other things are going to start to be strengthened as a result of that. So use the projection of these low frequency thought forms that you don't want, to your advantage by turning the tables and strengthening your mind, sending out high frequency, lifting the entire frequency of the collective, the world, and taking control of your situation in a very simple way, because changes are made with very simple things that are easily duplicated and easily accomplished and done and implemented. Things that are easy to do, that can be done easily and quickly across the board. That's how major change occurs. It doesn't occur, in a very difficult manner. So that's my suggestion on dealing with thought forms that you don't want. Know that they're not yours, and hey, use your energy and dominate that thought form and get it out of there, so that you are in control of what happens in your life and within your being. Thank you so much. And until the next video, remember to defy the taboo against finding out who you truly are.